What is up everyone, my name is Jonathan, thank you for joining me. Today we will be doing a tutorial in Adobe Photoshop, maybe not so much as a tutorial, but at least an illustration or a demonstration of how to make this illustration. Everything that you see will be made in Adobe Photoshop, except for the wolf. We'll be cheating on that part, but that part alone, everything else can be made 100% in Adobe Photoshop. Everything about me is in the description below. With that, let's get started. All right, so I have a 1920 by 1080 document open. You can feel free to work with whatever document size you want to work with. We are going to start by selecting our color. So we're gonna do, let's do like an orange color. Let's see here. You can drag this up. Something like, or here, so double click on this color swatch right here, and then come into color libraries, and then let's find a good set of colors that we want to use. So I like this one, so let's use this one. So we're going to use that one. So we're going to stay within this color range. We're not going to move this, and we're not going to click anywhere on here. We're only going to move the brightness and the saturation. If you cannot find the brightness or the saturation, if that is not what yours looks like, you just click on this little bar right here, and then you have hue cube, brightness cube, color wheel, grayscale slider, red, green, blue sliders, HSB, hue, saturation, brightness, CYMK, which is if you're going to be printing, and then lab sliders, web colors, etc., etc., etc. So I am using the CMYK spectrum. So these colors will be accurate to a printer if that's something that you were doing. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So we're going to be doing that, and we're going to start with a pretty dark color. We're going to start, actually no, we're going to create what color the sky is going to be, and it's going to be a pretty bright color. Probably something like that. Just hit G on your keyboard, bring up your paint bucket, and then click on the background. So done with that. And now we can create some more layers down here. And these are going to be like the ridge, and then it's going to go down one, and it'll be, you know, the first layer of ground, next layer of ground, next layer of ground, next layer of ground, and then the mountain. So that's kind of what we're shooting for anyways. So just make sure to switch back and forth to your layers. So we're going to start, and we're going to grab a pretty dark color, not quite black, something like so. And we're going to start here and just kind of drag this over here. And I do not use a pen, I'm doing this with a mouse, so you can do this with a mouse as well. Drag that back up to the start point. Now hit G on your keyboard again, grab your paint bucket tool. We are even going to make this a little bit darker. Something probably like that. Control D to unselect. Now go to the next layer down. And we're going to start, we're going to zoom out just a skosh. So by holding Alt and then use the scroll wheel on your mouse, you can zoom in and out of the artboard. And we're going to start by creating this right here. Drag this all the way back around. Done with that one. G on your keyboard. And we are going to kind of do from a dark to a light theme here. So we're going to do that one. And then Control D, go to your next layer. Grab your lasso tool by hitting L on your keyboard. And then we're going to start by creating this next layer. And drag this all the way over, all the way back around. G on your keyboard. And then, oops, I guess we should make it a different color. Done with that. Control D, grab your lasso tool. Make another layer of ground. Something like so. Drag this all the way back around. G on your keyboard will make this yet a little bit brighter. Control D to deselect, L on your keyboard to grab your lasso tool. And so for this one, this is going to be the last one before we create the mountain. And then so we're going to start here. We're going to go just over that one and then up like that on that side. I just like the way that having a hill on that side looks. And somewhere's about like so. And now Control D, L for your lasso tool. Now we're going to create a mountain. So I'm actually going to do one little boop right there above on this side, and then up, and then back down. Something like so. Looks good to me. G on your keyboard, make this yet a little bit brighter. Done with that, and Control D. So now we have all of our ground layers set. Now we can make our moon. So we're going to bring this all the way over to brightness, and then this needs to just be brighter than the background. So we're going to go over here. It'll probably say rectangle marquee tool, and we are going to grab our elliptical marquee tool. And then clicking and holding shift to make a perfect circle, we're going to draw a moon, or what will be a moon, because now we're going to hit G on our keyboard, grab our paint bucket, and we already changed this to be a brighter color. So we're going to just click there. And then Control D to deselect, and now, whoopsies, if you fat finger a whole bunch of keys, it will do something like that. And I just realized, for your own viewing pleasure, made a mistake, and I didn't click on anything past this. So I'm going to fix that really fast. I'll show you how to fix it on the first one, just so if you do it, you know how to fix it as well, but you should be able to just replicate this steps. I'll show you once, and then I'm just gonna speed the rest up so it doesn't waste your time. So what we need to do is grab this layer, grab our selection wand here, our magic wand tool, grab that, and now click on this this layer right here. So now that is where, so this moved. There we go. So click on that now. And now we are going to grab our eyedropper tool. We're going to go down to the very last, the second to last layer. This was the moon. This one will be the moon. This one is our mountain. Click here, grab our, nope. So make sure you're here, click on here. Now go down to your second to last layer, grab your paint bucket tool, click in there. And now you can go back to this one and actually hit backspace, and that'll delete that from the layer that we were originally putting it on, and now it is down here where it's supposed to be. So now we need to do that one more time. And I think that's it. So I need to make one more layer. Here, Control D. Okay, so now we're done there. We're going to rename some of these layers. This is going to be moon. This is the mountain. This is the ground. We'll call that ground 4. This is ground 3. This is ground 2. I'm sure you can see the trend. This is ground 1. And this is the ridge, or the ledge. Maybe we'll call it a ledge. Ledge. Okay, so now that that's done, now we are going to add some shadow. Nope, we're not going to add shadowing. We are going to add some trees. So we are going to go into my trees selection here. Let's see what we got here. Go grab our brush tool. Nope, that's foliage. What did this look like? So let's see, go to eye, and now I'm going to go down to ground, and then go back to my brush tool, and I'm just going to change the flow on this one. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to brighten this up just a little bit, I'm going to leave the flow at 100. Brighten this up some more. Or should I make it darker? I should probably make it darker. So I kind of like that. We're going to grab something like so. Something a little more scrawny. That looks nice. Excuse me. So now we're going to go into our brush settings, and we are going to go to shape dynamics, size jitter. We're going to change that a whole bunch. Go to brush shape, and we're going to change the spacing out. So it's pretty extreme spacing, and that should be everything. We don't want scattering. We just want this, and we don't really want angle. We don't want the angle jitter. No angle jitters. Go back to here. So we should be good to go there. Go back to our brush. To our brushes. Drag this back down. I feel like, yep, that did erase that size jitter. And brush spacing. Back out. So I would say that it's too much size difference, something like that. We're just gonna put a few here, and then I'm gonna go find another kind of tree. So go back to my brushes, and not a stylized tree. What does this look like? This could work. I like this. Like this. That looks nice. Okay, now we're going to add our, go down to our next set, and we're going to drag this down some, because these trees are going to be even further away, but we are going to change the flow on this just a little bit. We might not change, whoops, we might not change the flow actually. Let's just change the saturation so it just isn't quite as, yeah. It looks like, you know, like when it's hazy, stuff just kind of starts to lose its color. So we're going to do something like that. Oops, that's not touching the ground. That's not touching the ground. And something like all that. That looks good. Now, what did we use? We used, so I'm going to do that for all these layers, so we only have to change the whatchamacallit, brushes so many times. Whoops. So we need to go change our spacing out quite a bit. Shape dynamics. Let's see what this looks like. That's not enough. That looks good. We're going to change the spacing out quite a bit. So it's like super sporadic. Actually, we're just going to single click this. Something like this. Actually, I'm going to change the saturation on this layer again. Bring this down, bring the brightness up some. So it's something like that. This looks pretty good. I like this so far. So you can just bust all this out. And then we're going to, once we do our last layer, this one way back here, we're going to change this up just a little bit more, make this a little bit brighter again. And then we're going to make the brush just a tiny bit smaller. We're going to put these way back here. One there, one here, one there, one here. And if you want these brushes, this whole pack, this is over 250. I counted them and I want to say it was 299 brushes. If you want to purchase that, It is for sale on my website. The link is in the description below. That's just something a little to help me keep making these videos. This is very time consuming, obviously, but hopefully it helps you. That's my main goal, is I just want to be helpful. So we will go back to this one, and now we're going to change our brush. We're going to change it back to, I think we were using this one. Yep, that looks right. Or we can grab a different one. Something like that. And now we're going to grab our eyedropper tool, and we're going to select this color because we want these to be the same. And we're going to go back into our brush dynamics. I bumped my camera setup here. Go back in here, we're going to change this, go back up to brush and change this out here, and something like that. So it's pretty good size. That one there, here, there. Not too many. We're gonna add some fog in here, and that'll really that adds a ton of depth. Tons of depth. Tons of depth. Know what I mean? Depth and stuff. Okay, so now we're going to grab this layer, and now we are going to grab this color right here, and we are going to go back to our brush and make this mucho smaller. Something about like so. Make it even a little bit smaller. And some here. There. Oops, I don't like that one. Not quite that small. And one over here. And now we're going to grab our eyedropper tool, go back to the very back layer. We're going to grab that color right there, go back to our brush, make this mucho smaller. Put this way back here. Something like all of this. Just click in over here, no real rhyme or reason. Put one way up there on the top. I like this, I like the way this turned out, I like that. Man, talking a bunch. Whew, sorry, I had to cough. All right, so we're done with that. So now we are going to be adding our fog. And so now we're going to go back to our brushes, and somewhere in here I have a cloud. This is enormous. And we are going to grab a pretty bright color. We're going to bring our flow way down because it's a cloud. Like, you know, you can see through clouds. So brush settings, especially fog. We're going to change the size jitter quite a bit. We're going to change the angle. Let's go back here, change the spacing out quite a bit so we can see what we're changing here. The angle jitter is pretty substantial. Roundness jitter, I don't even know what that does. Oh, cool, it makes it flat or round. Nope, we're not doing that. See, I just learned something. I didn't even know what that was. I never slid that slider before. All right. So we're actually gonna make this a little bit bigger, and it's gonna go something like this. Here we go. So we're actually going to no, this will work. We are going to bring the flow down even more though, or the opacity down even more. Something like that. And something like that. And now we can go back here. We're going to make this just a little bit brighter. So now these should just be behind this layer here. Now go to this one and paint in back here. We're gonna make this a little bit brighter still. Not really changing the size because we're just trying to get the edge, like, you know, put it behind that. So, you know, obviously this fog looks like it's behind this tree. Now we're gonna go to this one. We're gonna go here to our brightness and we're gonna make it come back a little bit more so it's a little more orange. Maybe not, maybe that won't be too visible. Something like so. I'm liking it. And then one more all the way back here. Actually, this isn't the last one. Now we're going to go all the way behind the mountain. Let's add a new layer in front of the moon, behind the mountain. We're gonna make this pretty bright. This will just kind of separate the mountain from the sky some. That looks good. I like the way that looks. That looks good, looking good. I feel like I made this mountain way too big for what's in front of it, but whatever. Okay, so once you have done all of your fog that you would like to do, this could be the middle of the day or this nighttime, but I guess I would it makes sense for it to be nighttime. I don't know. We are going to add our wolf right here, kind of howling at the moon. We're gonna move our moon though. Move this over a little bit somewhere. It's about like, we can probably put it way over here. No, we'll leave it here. And now we are going to grab our wolf. So our wolf is just, I already have a wolf selected. So I have a wolf selected. It will be available to download in the link below if you want to download the two brushes that I use, these tree brushes and the cloud brush that we're using. So those two brushes, the cloud and this wolf, will be available in the download that is in the description if you want to use these. Otherwise, feel free to make and use your own, or go buy the tree package that has all of the trees, because it's super legit. So we're gonna put this up here on top of our ledge layer, hit Control T. We're going to shrink this down and put it somewhere about like so. Enter. And this is, we're going to make this below the ledge. Actually, that looks pretty close to being pretty good. Something like that. Yeah, we're gonna leave that over here like so. That looks good right there. Looking good there. And now I think what we're gonna do is we're going to add a tree to this ledge here. So go back to your brushes and go down to your tree brushes if you have it. And we are going to add, let's add one of these. I like these. These are cool. So we're going to add one of these up here. Hit I on your keyboard so to select the same color as the ledge. We're going to make it a little bit lighter. Go back to our brush. Oh, I got to change the opacity and the flow back up. Boom. Done. Actually, I'm going to put this on another layer. I'm going to put that below the ledge as well. So it just kind of looks like it's coming up out of that. So the more next thing that you would want to do is add gradient shadowing and all of that stuff. But I think this is where I'm going to leave this. I hope you learned something. I hope you're inspired to go make something. If you do make something, I'd love it if you tag me in it in Twitter or Instagram or wherever you post your stuff. Feel free to tag me in it. I'd love to see what you're making. Thank you for watching. Everything about me is in the description below. God bless, stay safe, and we will see you in the next one.